Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be exploring this exciting world of AI and, where the biggest opportunities are, I guess. Our guest is Andrew Ng. He's a leading AI expert. I think most people probably know that. But, he not only breaks down the tech, but he really kind of paints a picture of how these trends are impacting the real world.
Yeah, and Eng's, central argument is that while all the, foundational tech like chips and cloud infrastructure and models are important, the real game changer is the application layer. He makes this really interesting comparison to electricity. How it was this general purpose technology that ultimately changed, pretty much everything.
Yeah, that is a good analogy.
Yeah.
You suggest that the real value of AI isn't in the tools themselves, but in how we're using them to solve real problems and create new possibilities, right?
Yeah, exactly. Eng believes the application layer is where we're going to see this explosion of innovation with the potential to change so many industries and, parts of our lives. It's really exciting.
One of the big things that stood out to me was how much faster AI development is getting, especially with generative AI. He talked about teams building and testing 20 prototypes in a weekend. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. This rapid iteration is all thanks to generative AI, It's changing how we can create and refine models. It allows for a level of experimentation and innovation that just wasn't possible before. But Eng does say, speed shouldn't come at the cost of responsibility.
Right. So it's about finding that balance between moving quickly and making sure that these AI systems are robust, reliable, and safe.
Exactly. Eng really stresses the importance of building systems with the right kind of guardrails, even as we embrace this faster pace of development. He makes a good point, though. While ML modeling itself has gotten super fast, other stages like software integration and deployment haven't really kept pace. This creates new challenges for organizations trying to keep up with AI.
Yeah, I can see how that would put pressure on teams to adapt and streamline their workflows.
For sure. Eng thinks successful teams are going to need to embrace new ways of working, incorporating automation, and finding ways to speed up every stage. They're basically rethinking the traditional software development lifecycle to match the speed of AI innovation.
Another really interesting concept that Eng talked about is agentic AI workflows.
Mhm.
Can you break down what that actually means and why it's causing so much buzz?
Sure. Agentic AI is basically this big shift in how we interact with AI. It's about going beyond those simple one-shot prompts where you ask a question or give a command and you get a single output back. Agentic AI is more about an ongoing back and forth.
So it's less about giving orders and more about a conversation or a partnership with the AI.
You got it. Think about a situation where the AI can plan, research, draft, even critique its own work, and figure out when to use external tools like a web search or APIs. It's a much more sophisticated approach, and it's producing some really impressive results.
I can see how that would open up a whole new world of possibilities. Are there any real-world examples of how agentic AI is being used right now?
There are actually quite a few. Eng mentions some great use cases. For example, it's showing a lot of promise in processing legal documents, helping with healthcare diagnosis by, analyzing patient data and suggesting possible diagnoses, and even navigating those tricky compliance tasks in industries with a lot of regulations. All these areas really benefit from this kind of thoughtful, iterative approach.
It sounds like these agentic AI workflows are based on some pretty complex design patterns.
Yeah.
What are the main principles that make them so effective?
Eng highlighted 4 major design patterns. The first one is reflection, which means the AI can look at its own work and use that feedback to get better. It's almost like it has its own built-in editor to constantly refine the output.
Wow, that's fascinating. It almost implies a level of self-awareness that we don't usually think of with AI. What are the other patterns?
Okay, the second one is tool use. This is where the AI can actually decide when to use things like web search or APIs to get more information or do specific things. This really expands its capabilities and lets it access way more information and functionality.
So instead of being limited by its initial knowledge base, it can actually go out and find new information and tools to complete a task more effectively.
Exactly. The third one is planning and reasoning. So the AI can take a complicated task and break it down into smaller, sequential steps. It's like a strategic approach to problem solving.
So it's not just blindly following instructions. It can actually analyze a problem, come up with a plan, and execute it step by step.
Right. And the last one is multi-agent collaboration. This is where you have different AI agents that each specialize in something specific, and they work together to solve a bigger problem.
It's like having a team of AI experts all working together, each one contributing their own skills and knowledge to reach a common goal.
You nailed it. It's a powerful concept that's already producing amazing results. In fact, Anne mentioned that an AI using an agentic workflow was able to get a 95% success rate on a really tough coding benchmark. That's way better than a regular large language model, which only got 67%.
Wow, that's a huge difference. It seems like agentic AI workflows are already living up to their hype. But is this just for text-based tasks, or can it be used with other types of data too?
That's a great question, and it brings us to one of the most exciting things happening in AI right now, the rise of visual AI. M believes these agentic workflows are just as powerful when you use them with images and videos.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Can you tell us more about how they're applying these workflows to visual data?
Eng showed some really cool examples in his presentation. He had a system that could analyze videos to count soccer players on a field, figure out when goals were scored, and even create metadata for huge video data sets.
So instead of just being able to recognize objects, the AI can now understand the context of what's happening, analyze the scene, and do more complex things based on what it sees.
You got it. And this opens up so many possibilities for companies that have tons of images and videos. They can finally extract meaningful insights from all that data and build new applications that weren't possible before.
This is like a visual AI revolution.
Yeah.
What other important AI trends should people be keeping an eye on?
Well, on top of agentic AI and visual AI, N talked about 4 other big trends. First, advancements in both hardware and software are making it faster to process text and image data. This means faster token generation, which is really important for agentic workflows.
So the foundation that these AI systems are built on is also evolving super quickly.
Exactly. And second, we're starting to see large language models that are specifically built for agentic tasks. These models are being trained to be really good at using tools, planning, and fitting into those iterative workflows.
So it's like the models themselves are being customized to support these new ways of working with AI.
Exactly. And the third one is that data engineering is becoming way more important, especially when it comes to managing all this unstructured data like text, images, and video. With generative AI and agentic workflows, there's just so much of this data being created and analyzed now.
So data engineers are going to be crucial in making sure that these AI systems have the right data at the right time in the right format.
Absolutely. And the fourth big trend Eng highlighted is what he calls the image processing revolution. Building on all the progress made with text processing, we're now seeing major improvements in how AI can extract insights and meaning from visual data. This is going to unlock a whole new wave of applications across all kinds of industries.
Wow, it's an incredible time to be involved in AI. Eng's insights really paint a picture of a field that's changing so fast, with the potential to impact pretty much every part of our lives. We've only scratched the surface of what's possible.
Totally agree. Eng's message was really clear. There's so much potential and opportunity out there for those who are willing to embrace these changes and help shape the future of AI.
Eng's presentation wasn't all just, theory, though. He actually showed a really cool demo that kind of brought all these ideas to life.
Yeah, you're talking about the video analysis tool, right? The one his team built.
Exactly. It could automatically go through like a whole library of videos,
Right.
and then you could search for super specific things. I remember he searched for gray wolf at night, and it like instantly pulled up all these matching clips.
Yeah, that was a great demo. It really showed the power of combining visual AI with those agentic workflows. The system wasn't just recognizing stuff, it was understanding what was happening in the whole scene.
It totally blew me away when he searched for black luggage with a rainbow strap, and it actually found it. Like, it felt like magic.
Yeah,
The potential for businesses with these huge video archives is just massive.
totally. Think about things like analyzing sports, reviewing security footage, even giving people personalized entertainment recommendations. There's so much valuable info hidden in those videos that we can unlock now.
What I thought was really cool is that Eng's team actually put the code for that demo app online. So it's not just some theoretical idea. These tools are actually becoming more and more accessible.
Yeah, it really shows how collaborative the AI community is. Those barriers to entry are coming down, which is only going to make innovation happen even faster.
Going back to Eng's idea that AI is like electricity, what do you see as the biggest implications of it being this general purpose technology?
Well, just like electricity, it changed so many industries and how we live our lives. I think AI has that same potential, maybe even bigger.
We've seen so much hype around new tech before, though. Why is this different? What makes you think AI isn't just a fad?
The difference with AI is that it can learn and adapt. It's not just about automating things, it's about creating systems that get better over time and can solve problems in ways we haven't even imagined yet. And with this whole agentic AI thing, we're moving beyond just giving commands. It's more like we're collaborating with AI systems in these really complex ways.
Yeah, it's almost like AI is going from being a tool to being a partner.
Exactly. And that partnership could help us solve some of the world's biggest problems. But of course, we can't ignore the potential downsides, the risks that come with AI being so powerful.
And definitely agrees that we need to be careful and think things through. He's a big advocate for responsible AI development, right?
Absolutely. He kept emphasizing how important it is to build systems that are reliable, that you can trust, and that align with our values as humans. It's not just about building cool tech, it's about building tech that benefits everyone.
He also talked a lot about the collaborative side of AI, how important it is to share code and knowledge openly to make progress faster.
Yeah, the AI community is incredibly dynamic. You have all these researchers and developers and entrepreneurs constantly sharing ideas and building on each other's work, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Platforms like Snowflake, where N gave his presentation, are playing a key role in that by giving people the tools and infrastructure they need to collaborate.
It really feels like a global effort to push AI forward. And also mentioned other companies like NVIDIA and ServiceNow that are doing some amazing work in AI hardware and software.
It's important to remember that all the incredible progress we're seeing is because of everyone working together. There's this synergy happening between research and development, investment, and policy, all focused on unlocking the power of AI.
It's clear that AI isn't some futuristic thing anymore. It's already here. It's part of our lives now. And as we keep exploring its potential, we have to do it carefully and responsibly.
Absolutely. We have this chance to shape how AI develops and make sure it's used to create a better future for all of us.
Now let's dive a little deeper into some of the technical details. Eng talked about faster token generation. Can you explain what that means and why it's so important?
Sure. Think of tokens as the basic building blocks of language and images that AI systems work with. They're like the letters in a sentence or the pixels in a picture.
So faster token generation means the AI can analyze and understand things faster.
Exactly. And that speed is super important, especially with these complex agentic AI workflows where the system is doing a lot of different things like planning, researching, and revising. If that token generation process it really slows down the AI, like it can't think as fast.
Makes sense. It's like having a really fast brain that can process information super quickly.
Exactly. And that speed becomes even more important as these workflows get more complex and involve using tools and multiple AI agents working together.
And I also mentioned that we're seeing new large language models that are specifically made for these agentic tasks.
Yeah.
How are those different from the language models we've seen in the past?
Well, the large language models we're used to were mostly trained on just tons and tons of text. The goal was to make them really good at understanding and generating human-like language. They can do things like write stories, answer questions, even translate languages, but they weren't really built for agentic AI.
So these new models are being trained specifically for the things that are important in agentic AI workflows.
Right. They might be better at understanding instructions that involve using tools or APIs. They might also be better at breaking down a big task into smaller steps or working with other AI agents.
So it's not just about being good with language anymore. It's about being able to actually reason, plan, and take action in a smarter way.
Exactly. It's about going from understanding language to actually using it to do things. And that's a huge shift that's going to change the types of applications we can create.
Another area NK highlighted was the importance of data engineering, especially when it comes to managing and using all this unstructured data that's being created now.
Yeah, there's just so much data being generated these days, text, images, videos, audio. It's valuable stuff, but it's messy and hard to manage. It's not organized neatly like the data we're used to.
So how does data engineering help with that?
Data engineers are the ones who make sense of all that chaos. They build the systems and tools that allow AI to actually use this unstructured data. They're the ones cleaning it up, organizing it, and making it usable for AI.
It sounds like they're becoming more and more essential as the amount of data keeps growing.
For sure. Without good data engineers, a lot of that data would be basically useless for AI. They're the foundation for everything else.
And lastly, Eng talked about what he called the image processing revolution, which is really exciting. It feels like we're finally starting to understand and use visual data in a powerful way.
Absolutely. We've come a long way in computer vision and deep learning. For a while, AI struggled to understand images and videos as well as it could understand text, but that's changing really fast.
And Geng's demos were really impressive, like being able to search through a ton of video footage to find specific moments or objects. That felt like a real breakthrough.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just searching through videos. We can now use AI to analyze medical images for diagnosis, find defects in manufacturing, monitor traffic patterns, even personalize shopping experiences based on what people are looking at. The possibilities are huge.
We've talked about all these amazing things that AI can do now, like agentic AI and visual intelligence, but I'm curious about the tech behind it all. Dan talked about something called faster token generation and how important it is. Can you explain what that is in simple terms?
Yeah, sure. So basically, tokens are like the little pieces of information that AI systems use to understand and process things. Think of them like the letters in a sentence or the pixels in a picture.
So faster token generation just means that the AI can analyze and process information faster.
Exactly. And that speed is becoming really crucial, especially with these more advanced AI workflows where the system is doing a lot more than just simple tasks.
Can you give us an example of that? Why is speed so important for those more complex workflows?
Sure. Let's say you have an AI that's supposed to write a report. You might have to plan out the structure, do some research, write different sections, then check its own work and make changes and keep refining it. All of that involves processing and generating a lot of text. So if the AI is slow at processing those tokens, it's going to take a lot longer to do everything.
Right, that makes sense. It's like if you have a really fast computer, it can do things much quicker than a slow one.
Exactly. And as those workflows get even more complex, like when the AI is using tools or multiple AI agents are working together, then that speed becomes even more important.
Ingon also mentioned that there are new large language models that are specifically designed for those more complex tasks. How are they different from the language models that we're used to?
Well, the language models we've seen before were mainly trained on huge amounts of text. They were designed to be really good at understanding and generating human-like language, things like writing stories, answering questions, translating languages. That's all super impressive, but it wasn't really built for agentic AI.
So these new models are being trained to be really good at the specific tasks that are needed for those more advanced AI workflows.
Exactly. For example, they might be better at understanding instructions that involve using tools or APIs. Or they might be better at taking a big, complicated task and breaking it down into smaller, easier steps. Or they might be really good at working together with other AI agents.
So it's not just about understanding language anymore. It's about actually being able to use language to do things in a smart and strategic way.
Exactly. It's like a shift from just understanding what words mean to actually understanding how to use them to get things done. And that shift is going to open up a lot of new possibilities for what we can do with AI.
Another thing that then Ig emphasized was the importance of data engineering, especially when it comes to dealing with all this unstructured data that we have now.
Yeah, we're creating so much data these days: text, images, videos, audio. It's incredibly valuable, but it's also really messy and hard to organize. It's not like the neat and tidy data that we're used to working with.
So data engineers are the ones who help us make sense of all that messy data.
Yes, exactly. They're like the organizers of the AI world. They build the systems and tools that allow AI to actually use all of this unstructured data. They clean it up, organize it, and make sure it's in a format that AI systems can actually understand.
So as we create more and more data, data engineers are becoming even more important.
Definitely. They're essential. Without them, a lot of that valuable data would be basically useless for AI. They're the ones who lay the foundation for everything else to work.
And finally, Eng talked about what he called the image processing revolution, which is really exciting to think about. It seems like we're finally starting to tap into the power of all this visual data that we have.
It is exciting. We've made huge strides in computer vision and deep learning, which are allowing AI to understand images and videos much better than it could before. For a long time, AI struggled with visual data, but that's changing quickly.
Eng's demos were really impressive, like being able to search through hours of video to find specific moments or objects. It felt like something out of science fiction.
Yeah, it's amazing what's possible now.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond just searching videos. We can use AI to analyze medical images to help with diagnoses, find problems in manufacturing, monitor traffic patterns to make cities better, even create shopping experiences that are personalized based on what people are looking at. It really opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's incredible to think about how far we've come in such a short amount of time, and it seems like things are just getting started.
I agree. It's a really exciting time to be involved in AI.
This has been such a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise with us.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of AI. If you want to learn more about any of the topics we discussed today, we'll be sure to include links in the show notes. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged, because the future of AI is being shaped right now, and we all have a role to play in it.
This has been The Deep Dive. We'll be back next week with another exciting exploration at the frontiers of technology and innovation.